The day no one cared. Rain fell steadily over the cracked sidewalks of the city. People hurried past, heads down, shielding themselves with umbrellas or the collars of their coats. The street was busy, yet no one stopped. No one noticed the old woman sitting on the cold stone steps of a worn-down building. Her thin frame was wrapped in layers of tattered clothes, soaked through by the rain. Her eyes were closed, but her hands trembled on her lap. A small paper cup, stained and crumpled, sat empty in front of her. Forgotten. The noise of the city, a mixture of car horns, distant sirens, and chatter, felt miles away from her lonely world. She had been there for hours. Most people passed her by without a glance. Some stared for a moment, uncomfortable, then quickly looked away. Others pretended not to see. She was invisible, but one boy didn't ignore her. His name was Malik. He was 17, tall for his age, with dark skin and bright, curious eyes. He had been walking home from school, his backpack slung over one shoulder, when he saw her. Something about the woman caught his attention, not just the sadness on her face, but the way she seemed lost, as if she had nowhere to go. Malik stopped a few feet away, unsure at first. Then slowly, he walked closer. "Are you okay?" he asked softly. The woman's eyes snapped open. For a moment she seemed startled, like she didn't expect anyone to care. Then her lips trembled, and a tear rolled down her cheek. "No one ever asks," she whispered. Malik crouched beside her, careful not to scare her. "My name is Malik. What's yours?" She hesitated, but then said, "Eleanor." Malik smiled gently. "Eleanor, do you want to come somewhere warm? I know a place nearby." Her eyes widened. No one had ever offered her kindness like this before. She could answer. A group of teenagers walked by, laughing loudly. One of them spat near Eleanor's feet without looking back. Malik's smile faded, his fists clenched. But Eleanor put a hand on his arm, shaking her head. "Please," she said quietly, "let it go." Malik nodded, swallowing his anger. Together, they stood up. Malik took Eleanor's hand, and for the first time in days, she felt a small flicker of hope. As they walked down the street, a crowd gathered behind them, whispering. Some stared with curiosity, others with suspicion, but Malik didn't care. All he wanted was to help Eleanor. The warmth inside Malik's home was a sharp contrast to the cold streets outside. Eleanor sat by the fireplace, wrapped in a soft blanket, while Malik's mother prepared tea in the kitchen. "Thank you," Eleanor said softly, "for not ignoring me." Malik smiled. "Everyone deserves kindness." But Eleanor's eyes held a secret pain, one that no cup of tea or warm fire could chase away. "I wasn't always like this," she said quietly, staring into the flames. "I had a life once, a family, a home." Malik leaned forward, eager to hear more. But Eleanor shook her head. "Not now. Maybe someday." That night Malik lay awake in bed, thinking about Eleanor. Who was she? How had she ended up on the streets? And why had no one helped her before? He knew one thing for sure. He wasn't going to let her fade into the background, like the others. The next morning, Malik returned to Eleanor's side, ready to face whatever secrets the old woman was hiding. But as they stepped outside, a figure blocked their path, a man in a dark suit, eyes cold and calculating. "Eleanor," he said, voice low. "We need to talk." Malik's heart pounded. Who was this man, and what did he want? Eleanor's hand tightened around Malik's. The mystery was only beginning. Shadows from the past. The man in the dark suit stood motionless for a moment, his eyes fixed on Eleanor as if weighing her soul. Malik stepped closer, his protective instincts flaring. He didn't like the way the man looked, calculated and cold, like someone who had nothing good in mind. "Who are you?" Malik asked, voice steady but wary. The man didn't answer immediately. Instead, he looked at Eleanor with something like sadness. Or was it regret? Finally, he spoke. "My name is Mr. Harris. I'm here because Eleanor needs to come with me." Eleanor's face tightened. She took a slow, steadying breath and said, "I'm not going anywhere with you." Mr. Harris's eyes flicked to Malik, then back to Eleanor. "This isn't a request. It's a matter of necessity." Malik glanced at Eleanor. She looked tired, older than her years, weighed down by more than just the streets. Yet there was a fire in her eyes, a strength he hadn't seen before. "No," Eleanor repeated. "I'm staying." Mr. Harris's jaw clenched, but he didn't push further. Instead, he turned and walked away, his footsteps heavy on the wet pavement. Malik watched him go, then turned to Eleanor. "Who was that?" Eleanor sighed deeply. "Someone I wish I'd never met again." Back inside the small apartment, Malik and Eleanor sat across from each other, the room heavy with silence. "Tell me," Malik urged gently. Eleanor's eyes met his. "I'll tell you everything, but you have to promise me one thing. Anything. Don't run away when you hear the truth." Malik nodded. Eleanor took a shaky breath. "Years ago, I lived a very different life. I had a family, a home, and people who loved me, or so I thought. But then everything changed. I lost it all, and I was forced to disappear." Malik listened, hanging on her every word. "I was married to a man who was not what he seemed," Eleanor continued. "He was powerful, wealthy, but cruel. When I found out about his secrets, I tried to leave, but he made sure I couldn't." Malik's eyes widened. "What kind of secrets?" Eleanor hesitated, then whispered, "Things I can't say out loud, people who would hurt anyone to keep them hidden." Malik's heart pounded. This was no ordinary story. "And that man," Eleanor said softly, "was Mr. Harris." Days passed, and Malik became Eleanor's shadow, her protector, her friend, her only connection to the outside world. He researched, asked questions, but every lead seemed to hit a wall. Mr. Harris was powerful and well-connected. One afternoon, Malik found an old photograph tucked inside Eleanor's worn jacket. It showed a younger Eleanor smiling, standing beside a man with sharp eyes. "Mr. Harris," Malik's fingers trembled. "This looks like trouble," Eleanor nodded. "It's more than trouble. It's a danger I never escaped." That night, Eleanor had a nightmare. She woke suddenly, heart racing, calling out for Malik. He rushed in, finding her shaking and drenched in sweat. "It's okay," he said softly, holding her hand. "You're safe here." But Eleanor knew better. The past was closing in. The next morning, Malik received a call from an unknown number. A cold voice said only, "Stop digging or there will be consequences." Malik's blood ran cold, but he refused to back down. He and Eleanor decided to leave the city for a while, to find safety and answers. Packing a few belongings, they slipped away before dawn. On the road, Eleanor shared fragments of her past. A hidden business empire, betrayals, secret meetings, and a daughter she had lost long ago. Malik struggled to keep up with the whirlwind of revelations. The woman he had seen as fragile was a survivor, fighting battles he couldn't even imagine. As they drove through winding roads, a storm rolled in. Lightning flashed, and the radio crackled with news of a missing person, someone who matched Eleanor's description. Fear tightened in Malik's chest. They were running out of time. A sudden knock at the motel door jolted them from restless sleep. Malik opened it slowly. A young woman stood there, eyes wide with hope and fear. "Eleanor?" she whispered. Eleanor's breath caught. It was her daughter, the daughter's secret. The woman standing at the motel door looked both familiar and strange. Her eyes, a mirror of Eleanor's own, searched anxiously for a reaction. Eleanor's heart pounded, her breath caught somewhere between hope and fear. "Is it really you?" the woman whispered. Eleanor nodded slowly, barely able to speak. "Yes, it's me." The girl stepped inside, closing the door carefully behind her. Malik watched silently, sensing the weight of the moment but unsure what to say. "My name is Clara," the girl finally said, her voice trembling. "I've been looking for you for years." Eleanor's eyes filled with tears. She reached out trembling and clasped Clara's hands in hers. "I didn't know where you were. I thought you'd left me." "No," Eleanor whispered. "I was forced to leave to protect you." Clara looked at Malik. "Thank you for keeping her safe." Malik nodded, though his mind raced with questions. Who was Clara really, and why had Eleanor's past caught up with them now? They sat down in the small motel room, the rain tapping a steady rhythm against the window. Eleanor told Clara more of her story, how she had been trapped in a life controlled by Mr. Harris, how she had escaped when she realized her daughter's safety was at risk. Clara listened intently, eyes wide with disbelief. "Why didn't you come to me sooner?" Clara asked softly. Eleanor swallowed hard. "Because I had to stay hidden. If Mr. Harris found me, he would have taken you too." Malik could see the pain etched into Eleanor's face. He realized this wasn't just a story of survival, but of sacrifice. As night fell, Malik's phone buzzed again. Another warning. "Stop digging!" the voice growled, "or you will lose more than you can imagine." Malik's fists clenched. This was bigger than he thought. He looked at Eleanor and Clara. "We need to be careful," he said. Eleanor nodded. "Mr. Harris controls more than we know." Clara's eyes darkened. "There's something you don't know about me." Malik and Eleanor both turned to her. "What is it?" Malik asked. Clara took a deep breath. "I've been investigating Mr. Harris too, from the inside." Clara revealed that after Eleanor disappeared, she had grown up under the care of a distant relative, but had never stopped searching for her mother. Over the years, she had gotten close to Mr. Harris's organization, working undercover to uncover his secrets. Eleanor's face paled. "You were risking everything." Clara nodded. "I had to. For you. For us." Malik felt a mix of admiration and worry. The danger was deeper than he had imagined. The next day they made a plan. Clara would reveal what she knew about Mr. Harris's operations, while Malik and Eleanor focused on staying safe and gathering evidence. They visited a public library, using free Wi-Fi to research. Clara pulled up files, news articles and secret reports. "Look at this," she said, pointing to a headline. "Billionaire's empire built on lies and fear." Malik frowned. "This Mr. Harris is powerful." "Yes," Clara said, "and dangerous." Later, as they returned to the motel, they noticed a black car parked across the street. Its engine was off, but the windows were tinted, and the driver sat motionless. Malik's heart raced. "They're watching us." Eleanor gripped Malik's arm. "We can't stay here." They quickly packed their bags and left, driving into the night, uncertain where to go next. Days passed and the tension grew. They moved from place to place, always cautious. One evening, Clara received a message. "Meet me at the old pier. Midnight. Come alone." "It's a trap," Eleanor warned. Clara shook her head. "I have to know the truth." Malik reluctantly agreed to wait nearby, hidden in the shadows. At midnight, Clara arrived at the pier. The fog rolled in thick, the moonlight barely piercing the darkness. A figure stepped forward from behind a crate, a man with sharp features and cold eyes. "Clara," he said smoothly, "I've been expecting you." Clara's breath hitched. "What do you want?" The man smiled. "To offer you a choice. Stop digging or face consequences." Clara squared her shoulders. "I'm not afraid." Suddenly, Malik stepped out of the shadows holding a flashlight. The man's smile faded. "So you're the kid who's been meddling?" Malik didn't answer. Instead, he shone the light on the man's face. The man's expression darkened, and with a swift motion he pulled a gun. Gunshots echoed through the foggy night as Malik and Clara scrambled for cover. Eleanor, miles away, felt a chill run down her spine. The danger was no longer just a shadow, it was real and close. The truth sets them free. The sharp crack of gunfire shattered the silence around the pier. Malik dove behind a rusted barrel, Art hammering in his chest. Clara dropped low, her breaths coming fast but steady. The man with the gun, cold and ruthless, stepped forward, eyes wild. "You shouldn't have come here," he snarled. Malik's mind raced. He couldn't let this end here, especially not with Eleanor and Clara depending on him. Without thinking, Malik lunged toward the man, knocking the gun aside. They struggled, fiercely, the fog swallowing their movements. Suddenly a second figure appeared, Eleanor. She had followed Malik and Clara, determined to face the danger herself. "Stop!" Eleanor shouted, her voice sharp and unwavering. The man hesitated, then sneered. "Helena, I should have known." The three locked eyes in the fog, memories and secrets heavy between them. "You don't have to do this," Eleanor said, stepping forward. The man's face twisted with anger. "You ruined everything." "No," Eleanor said, voice steady. "You did that yourself." The moment stretched tense and fragile. Then sirens wailed in the distance. The man cursed and fled into the shadows. Malik grabbed Clara's hand. "We're not safe yet," he warned. Later at a police station, Eleanor, Malik and Clara gave statements. The truth spilled out. Mr. Harris's empire, built on fear, lies and manipulation, was finally unraveling. Clara's undercover work, Malik's protection, and Eleanor's courage had brought justice closer than ever. Days later, as they sat, quietly in a small cafe, Eleanor looked at Clara with tears in her eyes. "You risked everything for me," Eleanor said softly. Clara smiled, squeezing her mother's hand. "We're family. We fight together." Malik watched them, feeling hope bloom. The city's bright lights no longer felt cold or threatening. Instead, they shone with possibility. Eleanor's story, a tale of loss, courage, and survival, had come full circle. She had been lost and ignored for so long. But now she was seen, heard, loved. Lesson life often hides its hardest battles behind silence and fear. But even in the darkest moments, courage, trust, and connection can light the way. No one is truly alone when they find the strength to reach out, and when others answer the call. Eleanor, Malik, and Clara's story reminds us hope can survive even the deepest shadows, and love can break the strongest chains. The end.